Today's a new day, a fresh taste of new grace. Gratitude on sky high. Today's a new day, let the old pass away. Gratitude on sky high. No more chains, no more holding myself back. The change begins in me. I'm answering purpose calls, embracing life. I'm valuable in life. Today's a new day, a fresh taste of new grace. Gratitude on sky high. No more flaws, embracing all. No more limits.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your next episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. I am your host, your favorite life balance and confidence coach, Consuela, Nicole, and you are in for a treat today. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for rocking with us all of this time. We are excited that you are here, and most importantly, those of you that have been able to pivot with us today, right? You know, I talk about the 3 Ps. When life starts doing its thing, sometimes we have to pause and pivot before we push. And today was one of them days. We had to pause for a minute, pivot and shuffle a few things around, but we are here today. So no matter if you are watching with us live and conversating with us right here, right now, or you have to catch us on the replay, make sure you go ahead and leave your comments. Let us know how you feel, if you received the answers that you received, and better yet, what else you want to hear next, because we do have some things for you, right? You know what? Before I bring my guest on, I want to talk to you for a minute. Someone asked me a question. It was like, Consuela, you talk about everybody else all the time. You uplift and promote and talk about everybody else's things and everybody else's businesses and what everybody else do. But you don't ever give yourself flowers. You're right. I don't. But guess what? I'm going to share some stuff with y'all today. So you all know I am your favorite life balance and confidence coach. I am your author and your speaker. And I also have some other things for you. Hello, Dr. Sonja. I see you. Matter of fact, welcome and hello to everyone, right? We have some amazing viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I am happy that each and every one of you are joining. So make sure you are dropping those comments. Make sure you are comment. We love the interaction. When my guests come on, you're going to see she loves the interaction too, right? So before I bring her on, let me talk about myself just for a second. I was asked about the books that I have written and that I have authored. Yes, I have written a book and some journals. You are able. So as you all know, technology is our friend. We all love technology. However, there is a point in time in life where you need to get away, not right now, but sometimes you need to get away from technology, right? So I provided these journals or written these journals to give you that ability to put pen to paper, right? Let your journals catch your tears. Yes, you can do journaling on your tablet and your electronic devices, but guess what? If you drop a tear, you're wiping that tear off and you're going about your business. If you drop a tear on your journal that you're writing on, that tear stained paper is going to be there as long as you don't rip it out. That is your story. That is your testimony. You need to allow it to continue to be there, right? The next thing we have is for all of my queens out there, right? No matter if you're a lipstick queen or lip gloss queen, the Beautifully Flawed Experience Lip Gloss Collection is here. It is here, and you see it only comes in 5 distinguished colors: acceptance, intentional, power, queen, and confidence. To find out the meaning of each one of those questions, you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Go to the website. Everything you need to know about what Consuela Nicole is doing is on the website of consuelanicole.com. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So that's enough about me. See, I gave me my flowers, y'all. Did that work? Did that work? But today it is not about me. Today it's about each and every one of you. And it is about my guest today. Um, Miss Sophia. I met her quite some time ago, right? And she is one of a handful of people that will pull my coattail and help hold me accountable, or hey, I don't see you doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? But it goes both ways. She is a dynamic person. Yes, of course, she is a coach first and foremost, but she's also a doula. And I know that is something that a lot of us may not know a lot about, right? But she also is a support system for families in every aspect of pregnancy, right? Most of us only think about pregnancy when it comes to creating the baby and giving birth and the after effect, right? But immediately after. But there is so much more to giving birth. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about why she did it and where she came from, right? Part of her story. Because as you know, that is exactly what's in your cup conversations is all about. It's not necessarily what you're drinking on, but we're going to talk about that too in a minute. But it's about what's in your physical cup, mentally, physically, and emotionally, what you had to dump out of your cup to refill your cup. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome my friend, the best doula I know, Miss Sophia.
I want
Hey,
to meet this
beautiful
chick.
smile. What you say you want to meet her? Look in the mirror, baby. Look in the mirror.
Thank you.
How
Thank
you
you.
doing today?
I am tired in my body, but you know what? My spirit said I had to be here, so this is where I am. So,
Yes, you did have to be here, baby. Look, let me tell you something. There was so many things that tried to not make this particular episode show that I was
mhm.
determined, we was determined no matter what, we was going to have it show because obviously there is something in your story that the world need to hear, right? Hello, Javon. I see you coming in from YouTube. Alicia, I see you. Thank you for joining in. So I know we're doing things a little bit different. It's throwing people off because we are
Yeah,
airing 1 hour later, but it's for a reason. So we're gonna jump in because I know I just told a little bit about your cup, right? You
yeah,
you you own some businesses, a few of them, right? You
yeah.
you are a wife, you are a mother, you are a community activist in a particular area, right? You are out in the community. You are all of these things.
Mhm.
Your cup is literally full of who you are right now. But before I ask you about who you was then, I want to know what's in your other cup. What you got over there? I'm just what you
Just a little rosé. That's it.
just just
I
a
gotta
little
be
bit.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, I have obligations early in the morning, and one thing I try
Okay.
to never do is miss my workouts. So come hell or high water, I'm working out at 4:30 in the morning. By 5:30,
Come
I
on.
am yeah. By 5:30, I am getting ready to go to my full time, and everything else just gets squeezed in between.
Wait a minute. You got a full time
I
and
do.
all of your business ventures and being a wife. And
I do.
okay. So tell me, I know who I just described, but when you look in the mirror, who is Sophia?
I am. Uh, and I want to put this nicely because it sounds self-deprecating, but it's not. I am a beautiful mess, and that's
Ooh,
okay. And that's totally
like
okay because
that.
I I am the only one that demands perfection of me, and I am my own worst critic. And over the
Okay.
last year, I have just decided that I don't even much care no more. I am gonna be who I'm gonna be, and y'all gonna have to love me the way I am. If not, I am not for you, and I'm okay with that too. So that's
I
where
am a beautiful mess. Y'all heard that. I love it. Yes. Okay.
I miss you too.
Well, if Jessica, right, right. Hey, Antonia, I see you. Hey, Jessica. So, if that's who you are now, right?
Mm.
I'm just going to go dive in. If that's who you are now, who were you 10, 12 years ago?
Ooh, we're gonna have to go back a little further than that. I guess it started.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Um, yeah. So let's see. I'm doing the math. We're gonna do 30. We're gonna do 30 years ago. Um, first child. I was a teenage mother, and it yeah, that shaped me. Me and my son. My son is 30 this year. My
Okay.
first son. My eldest is 30 this year. So we grew up together. He's the one that I made all the mistakes with, the majority of them, because I
Yep.
wanted to do it
Been
perfectly.
there. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So the second one, not so much. I knew when they fell off the bed, they wasn't gonna die. But that first one, it was everything. And he was the one I was hardest on too. So
Okay.
we grew
I
up together
understand that.
and we learned a lot together. But this kind of ties in to my doula story, which is I had a horrendous birth with him. I
Ooh.
had
Okay.
a horrendous, absolutely atrocious birth with him, meaning there was no informed consent. No people was doing what they wanted to do with me. And I was just there because I didn't know any better. Nor did they care if I knew
Okay.
any better because I was 15. So they're in a position of
Oh,
authority. So I listened. So
okay.
jump ahead a few more years. I have my second child, go off to school, come back, third child. So there's 4 years in between all of them. The births got better as we went along, but I can't say but. However, I didn't so much realize that was my calling until 2019. So I had been through my
Okay.
own three. My cousin was a teenage mother as well. And I helped her through her birth. Actually, the doctor allowed me to deliver her baby. So I went.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a very nice doctor. He actually delivered my first two, and he remembered me, so that was nice, I guess, since it was so horrendous. The least he could do was remember me.
Right, right.
Right. So it's not until I went to his 18th birthday party did I realize, hey, this is a dream I had, and I spent much too long hampering it. So let me go ahead and do this thing now and start a business. So that was one.
Okay.
That's one part of me. Then my husband, for the better part of our relationship, had end stage renal failure, and he wasn't
Okay.
able to work, and he was on dialysis, and it was me, my husband, three kids, me holding it down. And before we got to the transplant, everybody was telling us, hey, once he gets his transplant, everything will be fine, everything will be great, life will be perfect, you can, sit back, relax, and it's just coasting from there. No
I
such
hear a
shit.
but.
Nothing.
I hear a but. Okay.
More than that, but no such thing happened because what
Okay.
they sell you the dream, which is beautiful. He got his transplant in 2015. It's 9 years old this year. His kidney
Amen.
transplant.
Yes.
Yes. So no complications whatsoever, but he didn't return to his former life. So you have
Oh.
to think of he's 27 when he's diagnosed. I was 25. So we were young when he's
Oh,
diagnosed.
yeah.
So we're going through all of these things. His identity is affected because
Yeah.
27-year-old man wants to be down with kidney disease, dialysis, all sorts of things. So there were times when in the middle of the night I'm rolling over, he's not in bed. I get up and look, he fainted on the kitchen floor. Like he's just laid out
Wait,
on the
wait. You said he fainted on the floor?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, there was like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole course of him being on dialysis or being sick that he had I found him on the kitchen floor or found him on the floor in the house somewhere where he wasn't in bed. So many
Jesus, okay.
hospitalizations, so many surgeries. So I'm having to be the breadwinner, quote unquote, for this family of 5. And it was all me because we didn't live in a city where we were near family.
Okay.
And so that's the other part of it. And then there's the part where I'm a first generation American. I don't know what to do with that. I didn't know what to do with that. Both my parents migrated
Nope.
here from Jamaica, and they had this expectation. And yeah, everything was riding on the kids. I didn't know
Your
what to do with
shoulder
that.
load was heavy.
Exactly. So there's just so
Okay.
much, but I am here yet holding on. And I love every minute of it. It didn't feel good, but I love it now.
Well, I for one want to say kudos and give you your flowers, right? Because whatever was thrown in your way, you maneuvered through it, right? You figured out how to get through it without cracking. Well, you may have cracked, but you didn't break.
Right. There you go.
You didn't break. You may have swayed a little bit. You may
I
have
been
had a crack here and there, but you did not break. So I want to first of all say kudos to you because you had that S on your chest, not just superwoman, but support system,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
So going from that support system where you were forced into it, right? Because this was your household.
Mhm.
So it was no, oh, I just met you, I'm walking away type of deal. This was your household. What did you give up or what did you have to maneuver through to get to where you are now, to get you and your husband and your children to where you are now? Because I can only imagine that being a support system for someone, especially going through dialysis, learning all the new things that life is doing and still trying to hold it together
Right.
couldn't have been easy. It couldn't have been
It
easy.
was. It wasn't. But in all honesty, I don't know because I knew I had to do this thing, and failure was not an option. So we had to change our eating habits. We had to change what we cook and how we cook. Thank you, Dr. Sondra. We had to change everything. So there was no, we're not going to do this or we're going to do this halfway because his life was on the line. So it was just about, okay, doctor's appointment here, we're going to go there. We have to do this over here. Okay, we're going to make a way. We got some PTO, we're going to exhaust that. But when we do, oh, well, we're going to find another job because job, life, the scales don't balance.
Right.
So
Right.
we do
You
what
are
we have to
absolutely
do.
correct.
I mean, there were times I worked 3 jobs. There was times I lived outside of home. I was a live-in nurse for a little bit, and they stayed home, and I came home every other weekend. So imagine me being a nurse for somebody else and being away from my family or my husband that needed me. It had to be done.
That had to be a mental toll, knowing
It was
that you
horrible.
were taking care of someone else when
Mhm,
your husband needed you.
mhm. It was horrible, but it had to be done.
What
That's all I heard in my head at the time.
that it had to be done.
It had to be
What
done.
what can you thinking about what you went through during that time, right? And I know times have changed a little bit. They ain't changed a whole lot, but they done changed a little bit, right?
Right.
What what can you tell someone today that's in that particular situation right now? If it's on the support side or the patient side, right? What piece
Mhm.
of information, what piece of advice can you give them, to give them that push to keep going?
It's okay to not be okay. And I know that's cliche and it's so um it's said so much, but it really is. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get through everything. You don't have to constantly have that S on your chest. And it's don't just take it off when you're alone. Take it off when you're around people that you love. Because contrary to popular belief, people do want to help, and sometimes we're our own worst enemy, and we're not allowing them to help because we feel like they're not going to do it like we do it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
okay
been
to
there.
delegate.
Okay.
It's okay to delegate because, again, you're not delegating these tasks because you want it done your way, but it doesn't have to get done your way. It has to get done. And that brings me back to the
Right.
saying, done is better than perfect. The point is to get it done.
Ooh, I like that. Done is
So,
definitely better than perfect.
exactly, done is better than perfect all day, every day. And don't wait to start a journal. So I love the fact that you promoted your journals because you're right. Journaling is so awesome. And you're going to say stuff in that journal that you won't tell another soul. It's going to be between you and God. But
Baby, look.
and I used to have a morning show back in the day that it was just giving prompts in the morning. It was Serenity Before Sunrise. And
Yes.
it was just giving prompts in the morning, the things that you wouldn't even think of to um, be appreciative of. Like when I first started doing it, I used to talk about the rooms in your house and what stands out to you about the rooms in your house. Because the kitchen, just think about the kitchen. When at first glance, you're like, I got to go in there and cook, I got to go in there and wash dishes. But you
Right.
also go in there and you prepare meals for your family. You keep your family going. You give them the energy and the nutrition that they need every single day, or however often you cook, at your hands in that same particular room.
Very
So
true.
you just can't help but be thankful. Or your bathroom, you go in there, you do what you do, but then the blessing of running water in your bathroom. So it's just different things you wouldn't think about in these particular places in your room, in your house. So it's just different things like that. There's so many things that you can get out in journaling. And my biggest reason for wanting to recommend journaling or always recommend journaling is the fact that
Mhm.
it's a standing document. It's a living document that even
Right.
after me and you are gone, those words that you put on that page, or for those who choose to do it electronically, they're there for posterity.
Right.
You hand off or leave in your will or whatever, wherever you done hid these journals or the password to your electronic journal, and save the lives of your generations to come. Because they will know what you battled and they will know how you overcame it.
Okay.
And
Let it go.
they will know that they can save the rest of your lineage by journaling and passing that information along, because that's what we don't have right now. It's passing it along because everybody's
Right.
gatekeeping this information, or they're embarrassed because they're struggling. People been struggling from sun up to sundown for the last however many years. You think you the
Yes.
first, and you sure won't be the last. So what you shame for? What?
Baby. And that's what it's all about. Because look, I got a whole box over there with journals from when I was in high school. And the person that opens that box, they better have Kleenex on hand because
Right. But that's gonna
it's
save
a
somebody's
story
life.
to be told. It is. And you know, I'm happy you brought that up because that is, you know, passing that down is telling that those hard truths and those hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know, cliche conversations that we're not supposed to have out loud, right? But this is the time to have those out loud, which for is why we are having what's in
Yeah.
your cup conversations, because it is about that time. You know, we already don't pass down family heritage anymore. We don't pass down family land for whatever reason. Big
Right.
mama and them pass away, and the first thing we do is sell off the land for whatever reason, right? So if we don't have that information, we definitely have the journals. Dr. Roy Johnson said, yeah, they hold family secrets. You
Yeah.
are absolutely correct. They hold a lot of family secrets, personal secrets, and those they're in. But you know one thing, and I know, Sophia, this is something you can probably relate to. Um, the more we hold on to secrets, the more
Hmm.
damage it does to us mentally, right?
Absolutely.
We no longer live in, at least I'm teaching my kids, right? And then to teach their kids that we no longer live in a society where what happens in your house stay in your house. That we're not doing that no more,
No.
right? If you're not journaling, if you're not talking to me, go find yourself a therapist, a psychologist, a coach, a somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can trust to let them know what's going on in your head. So with all of that said, you know, you had a lot of stuff that, and I call it stuff because you had a lot of stuff piling up, right? And stair steps and stones that has now led you to the newest part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me bring it up. What is it? I remember you talked about it way back, you know, and you was thinking about it, but you finally, I can't even say finally, you gave birth to something that you were being prepped and prepared for decades ago.
Yes.
What am I looking at? What did you birth?
This is the current logo for my doula business. And as much as I love birth, the whole business was born out of death. Because when I
Okay.
moved, in my family moved in 2019, early January 2019, January 18th, as a matter of fact. Well, January 19th, and then we reached here on the morning of the 20th. And that's important for in a moment. My dad was sick. He was living alone. He had prostate cancer. So
Okay.
he was here by himself. So my husband said, okay, it's time. We came here, and 6 months to the day, July 20th, 5 days in advance of my wedding anniversary, my father passed away.
Got
And
it.
I went to work the next day.
You what?
I went to work the next day. Like he he died that day. He died on the 20th. The 21st, I was at work.
Explain why.
Okay.
Most people would take time to heal. Most people would take time to process or to get their mind right. You jump
Mhm.
right back into everyday life.
My mind was right because, and hear me out, because it sounds harsh and it sounds cruel, but what was left was a shell. There was nothing
Okay.
that me staying home from work was going to do. But what's most important, I had those previous 6 months with my father. We were able to talk, we were able to laugh, we were able to go to doctor's appointments, we were able to get out everything that needed to be out in those 6 months. Did it feel complete?
Gotcha.
Absolutely not. But I can tell you that my father raised me. So I can tell you that for as long as I've known him, he's done things the way he wanted to, when he wanted to, and he was fully satisfied with his life. And
Okay.
you cannot beat a life well lived. Was it perfect? Was it without its troubles? Absolutely not. But my father's favorite song was Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. That's what played at his funeral. That's what we play all the time in remembrance of him. So I wasn't sad. I'm sad that
Okay.
my kids and my grandkids won't, whenever they come, no rush. But whenever they come, they won't get to know
Right.
him. But there's so much that he left here for us to pass on that there's no way I could have been sad. I actually didn't cry until his funeral, where I had to talk about him to other people. I'm not
Okay.
sad. I wasn't sad. I miss him like crazy, but he did it. He achieved a life well lived. So I went to work.
Okay.
I didn't take off until all of my sisters and everybody came to do to the funeral, because essentially I planned everything myself because nobody lives here. None of my sisters or anybody
Okay.
lives. So we did things by phone or by Zoom, but I was the point person for everything.
Okay. So you mentioned that you started in doula service on the death side of things
Mm-hmm.
versus the birth side. So I'm gonna share one of your flyers,
Okay.
and that kind of actually answered one of my questions. End of life. I never knew that there was a thing or a position for end of life doulas. I
Yes.
only knew about doulas from the pregnancy side, right?
Um,
Someone that helps deliver, right? But then you taught me, right, and shared some things about all the services, even when it comes to the pregnancy side,
mm,
that doulas are capable of. Can you teach the people and teach us, right, some of these services and what it truly means to have a
absolutely.
doula by your side, no matter if it's at the beginning of life or the end of life?
Right. Yes, ma'am. I'm what you call a full spectrum doula, which means I support people, not just women, through all phases of life. So we'll start with you can go ahead, the end of life. An
Oh,
end of life doula is just that. So you can go find one online. You can call me if you want virtual, if you're not near me. But it's just that I'm going to help you plan what your vigil is like. I've had a person that actually attended their own funeral, quote unquote. We had a whole funeral. She was there. She heard all the people talk. She heard everything. So it's so peaceful when you can tell the person everything you have to say to them and they're right there. So she doesn't go anywhere wondering how people feel about her, and everybody who loves and cares for her get it out right now. Yes, it's still going to be a tearful experience when the actual transition comes, but you know you've gotten it all out. So that's basically the end of life. Preconception is, of course, helping you get pregnant. Miscarriage, when you lose a pregnancy prior to 18 weeks. And that's
okay.
hurtful for someone, especially if it's continuous. Postpartum is
Yeah.
definitely after you've had a baby come out of your birth canal. But there's one thing a lot of people have a misconception about. It's just not after when you have the baby, when you leave the hospital, maybe the first 6 weeks. Postpartum is forever. You are forever in postpartum mode.
Mm,
Because there's nothing right now, Consuela, you would not do for your child.
absolutely. And my
Postpartum.
baby, my baby about to be 31 and 30. 31 and 21. Yeah.
Exactly. But there's still nothing that you won't do for that child. And to you, that of course
Absolutely.
they're up in age, but that's still your child. That's still your
It's
baby.
still the
And
baby.
nobody better not run
Yeah.
up. Exactly.
Baby, look,
See?
you already know. Already know.
So, you're
Okay.
pregnant only for 9 months, but postpartum is forever. Birth, of course,
Okay.
abortion. Sometimes, and this is a great misconception, I don't care if you condone it. I don't care if you don't. The fact is, abortions happen. They're going to continue to happen. What we don't want are people going to do them in secret. There are still people who do them with clothes hangers because they don't want people to know. I would rather be there and sit there with you and drive you home. Again, it doesn't matter if I agree or not. You will never know what my feelings are about it. But what I know is you're not gonna go unalive yourself because you feel bad about this decision and nobody don't care about you, or you go home, get toxic shock, get sepsis or something because nobody's taking care of you. That's what we're not gonna do.
Right.
So call
Right.
me, reach out. And of course, feeding support because um, breastfeeding, aka chest feeding, it's not easy. So sometimes you just need somebody just to
No,
walk
not
you
at
through that
all.
process. And it's not. And sometimes it's just not for you. So just we're gonna work
Right.
it out, and you're not gonna feel bad about it because the important thing is that this child is getting nourishment and growing and gaining healthy weights and hitting milestones. So, and anything in
Right.
between. I think there I didn't hit mindfulness. I'm also a personal trainer, so I do mindfulness and I do fitness and nutrition plans and all that stuff. So we're gonna take care of the whole body. Ain't nobody leaving here lacking nothing.
Right. Right. Roy said, I'm in my 40s and my mama still tell me I'm forever her
Exactly,
baby.
and you are. You are. She will never come out of
Yeah.
postpartum. Mm-mm.
Right. And that makes that listening to you say it out loud, that now makes a lot of sense, right? Um, let me ask you this, and
Uh,
I know this is a big topic around the world right now in regards to women's health while giving birth,
mhm.
more specifically Black women's health while giving birth. Um, what can you tell us? How can you educate those that don't know that doula services is truly something available for everyone?
I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but until people are ready to buck tradition, they won't understand it. It's not enough
Okay.
that all of these stories about these women dying in hospitals while giving birth are constantly coming across the news. Sometimes they don't even put it out there. But
Right.
I teach informed consent. And as much as it is on these providers, it is on
Mhm.
the my clients, their patients, as well, to learn about what it is that's being done for you. Because we all go into doctors' offices, hospitals, or any other practitioner's office, and they hand you this slip called the privacy form, and you sign off on it without even reading it. Or they give you a pamphlet about what
Yeah.
they're going to do to you. You look at it for a minute, you put it in your pocketbook or whatever, but you don't really read it.
Right.
You got to start reading it, because there's 4 stages to informed consent. The first is that they have to have the information available to you. The second is that they have to make it clear. It needs to not be in medical jargon. The third is that you are required to make sure you understand it. And if you don't, go find somebody to help you understand it. Because at the point where you get to the fourth step, which is the informed consent, giving your consent for these people to do whatever it is they're going to do to you, you are signifying that you understand and you agree with whatever they do to you, and they have carte blanche to do it. But not only that, the underlying thing is that consent is not final. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you can tell these people to stop, and they have to. You can withdraw consent at any time. Just like we say no means no when it comes down to the act, no means
Yeah.
no when you're in a doctor's office. You can withdraw your consent anytime. At
Oh,
any time, if you feel uncomfortable, if anytime you don't understand what they're doing, no, sir, you got to stop. And you need to tell them they got to explain it to you. A good practitioner is going to explain it to you anyway. Okay, I'm going to touch you
right.
here. When I touch you here, this is the next thing I'm going to do. Are you okay with that? They need to get consent every step of the way. So if you do nothing else, learn informed consent. Thank you, Mr. Roy. Learn informed consent, because that can save your life. Don't be like, oh, he the doctor. He know what he do. No, he don't. That's what them people practicing.
And I think that's a lot of people's issue. Oh, well, they're the doctor. They know what they're talking about because
Mhm.
we don't, I'm going to say we, and in general, we don't necessarily know how to advocate for ourselves,
Ooh,
right?
that's a
Especially
pretty word.
being in the maternal state, right? At this point, we thinking about the baby.
Mm,
We want the baby to be safe, that we forget to advocate and talk up for ourselves until, unfortunately, it's a little too late. So
right.
I get that. Um, you mentioned something.
Yes.
What does it take? I know we have your contact information
Mhm.
and your website. You mentioned that you're able to do some things virtually.
Yes.
Is that for end of life and the mental wellness aspect of things?
I can do everything virtually. You tell me what you need and I'll make it happen. I
Oh,
will make it happen. I promise you that. And if I can't, I'm gonna find you somebody who can. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs an advocate. If you don't know how to do it for yourself, you need somebody there with you. And that's just
okay.
period point blank. If because
Okay.
this is where it gets dicey, because everybody's like, well, it's a luxury. No, it ain't. Life has never
What you
been
mean is
luxurious for those who cannot afford it. Life is no, your people are dying by going into these facilities. That's It's not a luxury anymore. It's something you need. It's a necessity. For that reason, I do payment plans. I take Medicaid. I do my best to take insurances, but they don't always work with me. So if you got a job that offers a HSA or a FSA, please just go ahead and invest in that if you feel like it's some stuff you want to do. But it's a necessity. People are dying at alarming rates because you hear about a few of them, the high profile cases. I think there was a cheerleader or somebody that died the other day, and it just gets to be so many. And I mean her or her family, no disrespect, but I can't remember everybody because these people cried out in pain and the doctors didn't listen. Oh, you black, you used to be slaves, you used to pick cotton, I used to whoop you. So you ain't feel no pain, girl. You ain't felt pain yet. So I ain't even gonna pay it no mind.
Right.
But the next thing you know, this lady's hemorrhaging or whatever the case, and now she's dead. And it's because you ignored her. Exactly,
Right.
practice conditions. But that's why they ignored her, so she passed away. Now this child has to be raised without a mother, without her birth mother anyway,
Not her birth mother.
because we didn't want to buck tradition. Can't keep doing it like that.
And that's the key, buck tradition, right? Look, and I tell people this all the time. Traditions are just the foundation, right? It's the foundation to whatever it is you're doing. You can alter and pivot and edit any part of that tradition to work for you, because what my mother knew, everything she knew is what she taught me.
Right.
But everything she taught me is not going to work for my kids, right? And everything I teach my kid or taught my kids is not going to work for my grandson.
Right.
So if what I taught my kids don't work for my grandson, what my great grandmama and them did is definitely not going to work for my grandson, right? So we definitely need to be able to, like you said, buck against it. We need to be able to edit and pivot about all of it. One thing I did notice, because I went snooping on your website, is that you have a wish list for your doula services. Is that correct?
I do.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. And that's for those people who probably can't afford the stuff that they may need during labor, because labor can be a very lengthy process. So there's a lot of stuff I need, a lot of stuff I use that they can't pay for. So I do my best to get the community involved, because the community, one way or another, going to receive this child. So we might as well bring it in a way that it's feeling loved and can get here safely. So that takes pressure off of the parent. And the parent doesn't have to worry about, okay, we got it here this far. I don't have to worry about this. So maybe somebody else can pick it up on the next stage of life. But I know I did all I could in this stage. So the wish list is just comprised of things I use during labor and birth for expecting parents. So it's not so hard on them. And that's how I'm able to do the payment plans and all that stuff like that.
All right, everybody. So for those that is looking for an organization to give to, or you just want to be a blessing in the midst of your own blessing or the midst of your storm, go ahead and type in doula bag wish list, right? And help her out. Help. I'm going to go to the wish list when we're done. I'm not going to do it while we're talking, but I'm definitely going to go take a look at this wish list when we are done. I love it. I love it. So before we end, I definitely want to say thank you very, very much. If they didn't hear nothing else you said, right? Because you talked about giving up some things in order to get to where you are. You are a wife, you are a mother, you are a support system, right? You went through kidney or your husband went through the kidney transplant, so you was that support system for that. You went through all of these things. If they heard nothing else you had to say, what will be the one thing you want to make sure that all of our listeners take away today?
Ooh, one thing? I'm gonna have to combine some stuff. So
okay,
your life is important. Don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not. I don't care where you are right this minute. You are of importance and somebody needs you. Not externally, you need yourself. So work on you. Take time for yourself. With this whole informed consent, I am so passionate about it because we get hurt. What is it? Listen, I only got a pinky toe in heaven, but I know it says something about the people perish for lack of knowledge. Is that I don't know chapter and verse, but just know my pinky toe and the rest of me gonna follow in a little while. So you perish for lack of knowledge, and nothing is truer in the Black community than they're not being knowledge, because we're filling up on foolishness and not on the things that we truly, truly need. So journal, that too, journal. Just get it out. Get it out, because it's nothing short of toxicity running through your veins day in and day out if you just leave it there. And if you think you're crazy now, just hang on to it for a few more years and it's going to be even worse. So just get it out. I think that's it. I might have more, but yeah.
That's all right. If you have more, I'm going to just come back and share it all. But we are definitely going to have you back, because like you didn't put some stuff out there that most of us did not know even existed, right? So I want to thank each and every one of you, first and foremost, for joining us, for pivoting with us today and joining in, no matter if you are watching this live or if you are watching the replay. Make sure you go into her website, check her out. She can do some things for you virtually, even though she's physically in Florida. She can do some things for you virtually. And if not, she can help you find someone or services in your area. If you are happy with everything, even if you're not happy with everything that you've heard here, send us an email, reach out, let us know. What other topics as well do you want to hear on What's in Your Cup conversations? Because we're here for it, y'all. We are having those transparent, hard conversations. If you have nobody else to talk to, you can talk to us. If you're not sure what to say, let us know what it is you want to talk about. We'll talk about it while you're listening. I promise you, it's going to all be okay. And of course, as always, if you want to know what your girl is up to, you can visit me at consuelanicole.com. Thank you very much for joining us on What's in Your Cup Conversations. And remember, no matter what you do, take control of your life. This is your life. You control the narrative. And remember, you are more than able, more than capable of living life with no more limits, flaws and all. Until next time, guys, have a great night.